There we are with that. Gary Hahn. This is an incredible story. Joins us now on 365 Sports, the voice of the Wolfpack for the last 34 years. Gary, you're with Craig and Paul. I'm David Smoke. Thanks for your time. You're trying to hit retirement, but I think you're probably enjoying the fact it hasn't started yet. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, this is an incredible ride. The Pack's been riding a wave. All of a sudden, it's turned into a big tsunami, and that tsunami's headed toward Phoenix, Arizona now in the Final Four. It's an incredible story from the team that lost its last 4 regular season games, then won 5 in a row to win the ACC championship in Washington, D.C., and then to go on a run with 4 more wins and go to the Final Four. It's almost like it's a Hollywood script. That's pretty hard to believe, but it's all true, every bit of it.
Ed, did you think when Virginia lined up to shoot the free throw that would have given the 4-point lead, or even the last second 3, did you feel like it was over? That was going to be your last call?
Well, it wasn't looking good at the time. I didn't think much about it, but I did tell the audience right after the Wolfpack foul that McNeely had to miss 2 free throws, and the Pack had to get it down the floor quick and hit a 3, because that was the only chance that NC State had to send that game into overtime and stay alive. And that's exactly what happened. You got an 89% free throw shooter up there that misses both of them. But I guess because of game pressure and the fact that Virginia was a lousy free throw shooting team all season long, and all the players kept hearing about that. Maybe that was in the back of his head. I don't know. But this guy's an elite shooter, and somehow, some way, he misses 2 free throws. Casey Morcell gets the ball up the floor to Michael O'Connell, and he almost had the shot blocked by McNeely, just got it off, just was trying to get it to the basket, I'm sure. It banks in. Pack goes to overtime, dominates in overtime, wins that game, and then the next night beats arch rival North Carolina for the ACC title, first since 1986. And it was that was just incredible. But I thought, I didn't say it on the air, but I thought after that shot went in, this is a team of destiny. That's what I'm thinking in the back of my mind, because this kind of stuff just doesn't happen. I mean, everything has to go right in that kind of situation. And I don't think we're ever going to see that again. I don't think you're ever going to see a team win 5 straight games coming from a 10 seed to win the ACC title like that. It's incredible stuff.
Is DJ Burns could he be the university president tomorrow if they asked? Because he's captured the hearts of the nation. Obviously, he's so fun, and the team is so fun. But he, in particular, seems to be like one of those guys that would be, you can do anything to anybody else, but if I'm a Wolfpack fan, you are not touching DJ Burns.
Yeah, I think Jay Billis said it best when he was describing DJ Burns. He said he got the body of a dump truck and the feet of a ballerina. I mean, that's just the way he is as a basketball player. He's about 280 pounds at 6'9", and he plays a very, very physical back-to-basket game. He's got every move, can shoot with each hand, got a mid-range jump shot. And Duke in the South Region Championship game tried everything possible. I mean, everything they could think of to try and guard DJ Burns, and they weren't able to do it. And he's very, very tough. He's an old school player. You don't see many back to the basket guys anymore. But as tough as he is on the court, he's as gentle off the court. He's just a big fur ball. I mean, he's just the friendliest kid you'd ever want to meet. He's very engaging, very approachable, loves the fans, loves the attention. I mean, he was playing for Winthrop. He never thought that he would get a chance to have this much attention, but he came to NC State a couple of years ago, became a fan favorite, and now the rest of the country's finding out about him. And I tell you what, he's loving every minute of it.
Gary, we all saw the comments from Jeff Capel and Brad Brownell there at the end of the season in regards to specifically the Big 12's rankings and the disrespect they felt towards the ACC as far as the allotment of teams in March Madness. And I'm not so much asking about the Big 12, but just what do you think the statement has been by the ACC so far? What do you think of the statement the ACC has made throughout this tournament? And what do you think it shows about the league?
Well, I think there's a lot of jealousy about ACC basketball, because I used to do games when I was at Louisville in the old Metro Conference, and then when I was at Ohio State in the Big Ten, and I was at Alabama for a little while as a kind of a producer-engineer, backup play-by-play guy there, the SEC. So I've seen other conferences, and all of those fans were always real upset. They always thought the ACC was the favored child, the ACC this, the ACC that, and if they ever beat an ACC team, it was almost like winning the national championship. I mean, I've been there, I've seen it, and even after all of these years, I think it's still there. And when the ACC has a year where it's not quite as dominant, then they just unload on the ACC. And they don't understand. I mean, I've called games in these other conferences, and they're all great. Nothing against the Big 12. It's a really good basketball. But as far as I'm concerned, having called games in these other conferences, there is nothing like ACC basketball. And when you start to unload on the ACC, you better watch it because they're going to prove you wrong most of the time.
Is that also not just the names in the conference, the success in the conference, but also the atmosphere at those games like you hear about with the SEC in football?
Well, yeah, you go to Duke and Cameron Indoor Stadium, and NC State hadn't won, but I think about maybe 2 or 3 times since I've been there in 34 years. I mean, it's that tough. Then you go to Carolina, it's always packed. NC State. Usually a capacitive crowd when Duke or Carolina or Wake Forest is playing. You got those Big Four schools, and it's a tremendous rivalry. So I think that's part of it. And the fact that the ACC, either Duke or Carolina, most of the time has won so many national championships. I think that's why you got a lot of Duke haters nationally, because they're just tired of seeing Duke, and Coach K. Well, I got a lot of respect for Coach K, and I've never been a Duke hater. And I mean, that guy earned it, and he was one of the greatest motivators in college athletics that I've ever seen, and did things the right way, and was successful. I always hated to go over there though, because I knew it was going to be a tough ride for the Wolfpack over there at Cameron. But you had to tip your cap to what they did. But I think a lot of people just get tired of somebody winning all the time, and then they start to turn on you, and so. They're always looking for the underdog, and they ought to be behind NC State this week because the Pack is the true underdog of the Final Four.
Kevin Keatts was, I don't know, like from the university standpoint under the hot seat, but fans were starting that little chatter about being frustrated with him, especially those last 4 games. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody go from the chatter to, oh, man, we were totally wrong about that. He just needed to find his stride quicker than Kevin Keatts. What about him has he been able to filter out that noise? Because when you have struggles like they did down the stretch, it's hard to quiet the noise. But, man, has he quieted it?
Well, he has. You got to remember one thing, though. NC State wasn't all that bad. Even during the 4-game losing streak, the Pack was competitive in every game. But basically, what would happen? There'd be a 5 to 7 minute stretch, most of the time in the second half, sometimes late in the first half, where NC State would have a whole bunch of defensive breakdowns or turn the ball over and give up points in transition, or they just go cold, ice cold from the field. The other team would go on a run, and that would decide the game. And so it wasn't like NC State was horrible. The Pack was competing. It just wasn't doing certain things. The ball screen defense wasn't very good. Guards were blowing right down straight line drives down the lane, going to the basket, and you can't have that. And NC State wasn't getting much in the way of complimentary scoring. It was just DJ Horn outside, DJ Burns inside, and, it was those two are bust. And you can't have that. And Coach Keatts said, you guys told me before the season you want to win the ACC title. Well, here's the opportunity, but here's what you have to do. And he's got a veteran team. I mean, this team is full of transfers. The recruiting class last year, I think, was 5 transfers and 1 freshman, something like that. So you got a lot of experienced guys who have played a long time, so they know how to focus. They know what they need to do, and they locked in. They locked into everything that the coaching staff told them to do, and this is the most incredible thing about the entire situation. How fast this team turned it around and went from being competitive to winning, and that's just the incredible thing about it. And hang on a second, I got my phone's going crazy here. I got 2 phones going, and
that's okay.
So everybody's calling me. I'm not getting much work done, but I'm having fun talking.
Well,
so that's the way it is. But anyway, they got it turned around real quick. You got guys step up offensively, like Michael O'Connell, only had 3 double-figure scoring games as a point guard all season. I think he's scored in double figures in the 9-game winning streak at least 7 times or maybe more. Mo Diarra, who was playing pretty good at the end of the regular season, all of a sudden turns into a double-double machine as the four-man. DJ Burns, who was a little bit inconsistent toward the end of the season, has become really consistent. DJ Horn now is locked in. Jaden Taylor has been up and down offensively, but he's really done it defensively during this 9-game winning streak. Guys have embraced their roles. Ben Middlebrooks has come off the bench. He's 6'10", 240, and he's helped both Diarra and Burns and has done, he's a high-energy guy. He's turned it up. So you have to have everybody turn it up, and that's what's happened. This team's playing with a lot of poise, tremendous mental and physical toughness, which they displayed in Washington, D.C. at the ACC tournament. They're together. They're connected. They're just oozing with confidence now. And I'm not going to count them out, even against Purdue. I mean, Purdue's a big mountain to climb, but I am not going to count out this Wolfpack team.
I know it was before your time there, but how much has this run, besides the obvious, brought back the 83 team that shocked Phi Slamma Jamma with Valvano and Thurl Bailey, Lorenzo Charles, Sidney Lowe, Terry Gannon, Derek Wittenberg, all of that, and they almost had a chance to play Houston. That didn't work out. How much has that been brought up in the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think it's been brought up by reporters who are not North Carolina reporters. Because if you're a North Carolina reporter, I've been hearing about the 1974 team and the 1983 team over and over and over and over and over for the last 34 years. And especially when the program was down, and it's been down for several years. I mean, when I first got here, it was down for probably about 10 or 12 years trying to fight its way back up, because when Duke and Carolina went to the moon, NC State went to the bottom, and the Pac's still trying to recover from all of that, and hopefully this is the big step forward. But I think people respect those two teams, but I think they want something new.
Yep.
And NC State fans want something new, and they've got something here with this team going to the Final Four. But tremendous respect for the 74 team and 83 team, and that's always going to be a great part of NC State basketball history. But it's been a while. And NC State fans are hungry, and I don't blame them. And now they're howling to the moon right now. They're loving every bit of it.
Gary, I read the story about your announcement and the retirement, also what you've been through, the loss of your mother and having to juggle, of course, the priority there. How hard has this? It's been a wonderful run, but how difficult has this season been as well for you to emotionally and an unbelievable story?
Well, I was taking care of my mom. She was a stroke victim, and she had a stroke 2 years ago, and she died on the anniversary of her stroke 2 years later, and I was her caregiver, plus trying to do this. And if you've ever been a caregiver to an elderly person, that's a full-time job right there. But somehow the Lord Jesus Christ was able to make a way for me to do it and still perform at a pretty high level and get everything done. But, I miss my mom. She was with me for almost 72 years, and a lot of people can't say that. So I'm rejoicing in that respect. And I'm sure that she wouldn't want to come back because she's in heaven now. But I still miss her, and I've got a lot of things I've got to do to take care of her affairs and all of that. Plus, I'm getting married in August, so I've got a lot of stuff going on. People ask me, well, what are you going to do after you retire? Well, I'm going to be slammed for about 3 years. So that's, I've got a lot of stuff to do, and juggling all this right now. I think the Lord has blessed me with this run because it's taken, I'm not able to fixate on the loss of my mom. I have other things I've got to do. And this has been a crazy day because I've been doing all these interviews, but, like I've kidded around with other people. I've been here for 34 years and nobody ever gave a flip, and now all of a sudden I'm a big story. So
well,
that's the way it goes.
Well, Gary, no matter how it ends, it will end in Phoenix, which is a place that a lot of people retire. So it's very
exactly
appropriate.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep riding the wave. It's turned into a tsunami, and we'll see how far it goes. But it's been a miracle run and an improbable run. But I'm telling you what, these guys are for real, and they believe in themselves. I mean, that's and pressure. There's no pressure on these guys. they've been playing under pressure for 9 straight games now. It was either win or go home. And so they know what pressure's about, and they know how to handle it, and somehow they just keep finding a way to win.
Gary, when I reached out to you, I wasn't sure you'd have the time, and I didn't expect a response, but I'm so glad you did. It's an incredible story. Good luck this weekend. Get that national title. And, again, enjoy your last, I hope, 2 broadcast of NC State as voice of the Wolfpack. We appreciate your time, and good luck with all the personal stuff coming up in your life as well. We appreciate your time.
Well, you're very, very welcome, and all the best to you folks down there in the Southwest.
Gary Hahn, voice of the Wolfpack, with us. What a story. His mother passed away, getting married, as he mentioned, in August, having to deal with all of that, and then the emotion of every game he's done for 9 consecutive games, possibly the last game of a 34-year brilliant career on the radio with NC State.
Yeah,